Okay, so welcome back to my film room. This is episode 2. So far, last video we did George Pickens. In this one, we're going to talk about Drake London. And now I will preface this with I haven't been able to access much of Drake London's film, so we're just going to go over this game where I'm not going to try to, make any assumptions about him as a prospect as a whole, but I'm just going to talk about this game versus Oregon in 2020, and let's get into it. So the first play we're going to look at here, as I'm going to try to kind of keep these in somewhat of an order. This isn't going to be chronological. They're going to be kind of similar plays going into each other. We're going to look at this hitch route versus zone coverage on a big third down in the second quarter where USC is down by 14. So they really need to get points on this drive. And per usual, Slovis is going to look London's way. London is going to be lined up in the slot here, as he typically is, especially in this game at least. And the Ducks are going to be running zone. And this is going to be, Slovis is pretty much just going to look London's way the entire time. All the other guys are almost clearing out the middle of the field for him as he's the only guy there. I think they're running some like hitch and goes on the outside. But London is going to fight through this zone coverage as there's pretty much 3 guys guarding him. And he's going to find just that soft spot in the zone, go up and make the catch, with the threat of contact in front of him. And he's going to come down with this ball on a big third down. I love to see that he is okay with making these kinds of, tough contested catches through contact, and this is just a really good rep from him. So next up, let's look at this slant route versus zone coverage, and this is going to be a, very solid gain here as London just going to get separation inside against the zone. This looks, single high. He's going to get a lot of separation, catch this ball, fight through contact, and he's really not going to go down. So you can tell that he's a pretty good route runner. He has good awareness of where the defenders are on the field, and he really is a tough guy to tackle because he's big and physical, and he fights for every yard after catch. Now here's an in route that he's going to run versus zone coverage. This is a really weird play. It looks like some kind of busted coverage from Oregon, but you can see this guy that is on him playing off coverage is going to kind of fight him with his hands about 10 yards off the line, kind of just keeps his footing, and then lets London pass him, and then kind of hovers off to the other side and just lets London wide open in the middle. And so you can call this, maybe just a bad play for Oregon, but London, again, is just going to sit down right in this hole. And Slovis, this is not an easy throw. As you can see at the back of the pocket, he's under a lot of pressure here. And so this is a really impressive throw from Slovis, honestly, but London able to just find the hole in the zone again and make a good catch for a pretty easy first down for him. So next up here, we have a spot route versus zone. I think that's the best way to call it. He's really just, again, finding the hole and trying to get this first down. It's a 4th down and 3. I made a little video about this, trying to make a little comparison for him, but we're going to go a little bit deeper here. So he's lined up in the slot. This is zone coverage. Oregon's going to kind of act like they're sending a 6-man pressure, but they're going to drop off both their edge defenders and send their linebackers up the middle, trying to confuse that USC offensive line. And the USC offensive line is going to hold up pretty well, but Slovis has got to get this ball out quick as the pocket's kind of collapsing on him. London is just going to get around this edge guy who drops back, and he's pretty much one-on-one with this linebacker. And he has, a step inside, and he's just going to fight to the middle. The other linebacker is going to come from the other side and try to make a play on this ball. But London's there first, going to fight through contact, kind of spin out of this tackle and get some after the catch, and that's a big 4th down conversion here. And that's just a great catch from London, and just you can tell that USC and Slovis trust him. He's their go-to guy on third downs, and he's just their chain mover. So on this play, there's 35 seconds left in the half. USC down by a touchdown. So this is a really big drive. It's 1st and 10 here on the 26, and London is going to be running a drag route versus off-man coverage. He's just going to immediately dig inside and kind of be the top guy on this little rub, but he's going to be the guy who ends up getting the separation. Is kind of the ref is going to get in the way of the defender and set his own little, almost like a screen. But London is going to catch this ball, honestly, a little bit behind him, lets the defender catch up to him, more than you would like. But he's going to fight through this defender. I mean, this is a pretty, good size safety that he's just going to drag all the way to the sideline until he's pushed out of bounds, and he's not going to go down. And he's going to get a nice gain here. It's almost going to get the first down, but, you can tell, again, he's physical, good route, and good read. So now here's a play from the third quarter. 1st and 10, USC still down by 2 touchdowns as they weren't able to capitalize on that last drive. London's going to be in the slot yet again, and this is zone coverage, and he's going to work to the outside as that defender's actually going to stick with him. And this is pretty much a dead play as Slovis is just going to kind of throw it to the boundary, and London's going to make a really good catch. But that doesn't tell the whole story, as it's kind of hard to tell with the angles here as the camera doesn't really pick it up, but London is going to flip his hips up as the defender keeps his eyes on him. And so the defender is thinking, oh, this is a go ball, this is a fade down the boundary. But London is tricking him there, and he's just going to immediately cut this back and make a ridiculous toe drag catch on the sideline. So, face value, like, oh, that's a really good catch, good throw from Slovis, but the way he's able to manipulate this defender into thinking this is a go ball to make him flip his hips up and then just cut right back to get, an uncontested catch, that's just a really, really smart play, and that's a really impressive small detail that, I think is going to translate to the NFL level and being able to, help his quarterback on crucial downs like this. And this is just, not a huge gain. He's, I don't even think he's going to get the first time. Maybe he gets 8 yards here, but this is just so impressive in the way that he manipulates this defender. But that's going to kind of end our good play section is here. We're going to end out with a couple of drops. Now, this one is early in the game. They're trying to get him the ball on one of these little, I don't even know what to call this play, honestly, but they ran 5 of these, and they never ended up too well, but they're just trying to get London the ball in space. But this is going to be kind of a low throw, but it's hard to tell from both these angles, so you can call it what you want. But it looks like London should hold on to this, so you think maybe concentration drops could be a bit of an issue, but this one doesn't bother me too much. That's just, it looks like a low throw anyways, and it's hard to really track this ball, but this is a ball he should catch. And lastly, I believe this is his last target of the game as it's in the third quarter. I don't think he got targeted in the fourth. I'm not sure if something happened or, if he just couldn't get open for the rest of the game. But this is going to be kind of another broken play where London's going to be lined up in isolation on the top of the screen, split pretty tight to the line. And he's going to be running kind of like it's another spot route, but there's going to be pressure. Slovis not going to find an open man, so London is going to cut back around into the corner of the end zone, which is a great idea in theory. The only problem is this other receiver, lined up on the other boundary, is going to be wide open if London just stays down there. This guy has probably a touchdown. I'm not sure if this guy was supposed to do this as part of the play or if he was just trying to help Slovis out, so assign the blame to whoever you want, but London going to just go into the exact same area, kind of go up in front of this guy, but he's not going to come down with the catch. It's definitely a tough catch, but through contact, but he needs to come down with this ball, especially because he created the contested catch in the first place. So that's a tough one. Again, not too much blame on him. He's just trying to make a play. I'm assuming he doesn't know that this guy's going to be in the same area as him. If that was the play call, then that's definitely a different story. But this is a contested ball you want him to come down with, but he's a big-time contested catch guy, and I think this is just, a few and far between drop in one of these situations. Okay, so now let's get into my NFL comparison for Drake London, just based on this game, but I feel like a lot of the things that I saw in this game that made me lean this way are going to be reflected in the rest of his game, and I think he's only going to get better because this isn't even one of his better games. But my big comparison for Drake London, just based on some of these clips, especially over the middle and how USC used him, is Travis Kelce. Now, as a Chiefs fan and a big Travis Kelce fan, I believe he's the best tight end in football. I believe he's a clear Hall of Famer and could go down as the best tight end of all time. That's a pretty lofty comparison. But even though I don't think London can take over a game the same way that Kelce can, and I don't think he's just as dependable yet, he has that same athletic ability and just willingness to, go through contact, get open, and even the way he fights after the catch and the way he almost lumbers through contact and against defenders. Obviously, London's a receiver and Kelce's a tight end, but with the way the Chiefs use Kelce, I think that London could play a very similar role in an offense to Kelce. So that's pretty much going to end this video on Drake London. I had a lot of fun making this, so please show it love in whichever way you would like. I would love to get, the numbers up on it because, this is a fun thing to keep doing. And if you haven't already seen my George Pickens video, which came out last week, make sure to check that out. That one I think is a really good video too. I'm really proud of that. And let me know what other, prospects you'd like to see me talk about. I may not make, full film breakdowns on all of them, as I'm kind of getting through the receiver class right now. I think David Bell and Chris Olave are guys that I'm scouting at the moment. But let me know who you want to see me talk about. I can make, short videos, long videos, whatever. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, and suggest more videos down below. Peace.